The number one question I get asked on my Instagram is how I do my makeup, and let's get into it. The first thing you're going to do is make sure you have a really moisturized base. So I use this CosRx Snail Mucin, and I just take a few pumps. I rub it between my palms and just kind of rub it into my face. It just gives you a really clean base layer and you will look really moisturized throughout the night. Next thing I used is this NARS Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade Vanilla. I've used this concealer for 5 years. I've tried many different concealers. This one works the absolute best. So I'm just concealing under my eyes and then any imperfections I have on my face to start out. And then I'm just taking this Menage brush. I got this actually off Amazon in like a massive pack. I use this for foundation as well, and it's really nice because it kind of like collapses, so when you travel it doesn't get all over your makeup bag. The next critical step is a NARS foundation. I really like this one. It's a natural radiant longwear foundation and I have it in the shade Punjab. Normally I have a spray tan on, but I'm wearing a high neck top tonight, so I don't really care if my face matches my neck. And again, I'm just taking that Menage brush and I'm going in just like I did with the concealer. This is definitely more of like a full coverage foundation, but it's buildable. So if you don't want super full coverage, you could just use a little dot, and a little goes a long way. Just make sure you drag it down your neck just so it blends, especially around here. Next, another holy grail product. I use this Rare Beauty bronzing stick in the shade Always Sunny, and I just carve out points of my face that I want to look contoured. So for instance, my nose, I snatch it like this, and I add this little line right here because it really just like makes your nose look super small and adorable. And then my forehead, I want it to look a little smaller, so I just kind of drag this down in this shape. And then same here with my jawline, I'll just kind of carve that out with this bronzer like this. You want to look like a little my makeup just fell everywhere. You want to look a little insane. And then I take this Menage brush. It's the 52009 brush, and I'll just take the more blunt tip. I just kind of dab it into my face. Okay, and same thing here. Make sure you pull this down your neck or you're gonna look crazy. Blend her up. So now this is what we're looking like. We're going to go onto eyes next, and I think tonight I'm going to use this old Morphe palette. I have no idea what year this is from, but I know it's old. I want to do a darker like purpley eye, so I'm just going in with these 3 shades. So it's this darker purple right here, this reddish purple, and then this dark brown. And you're gonna tap off the excess on your brush and then just kind of go all over your lid, starting at the base and feathering out at the top. We don't want it like super harsh, but we definitely want it noticeable. I love a good dark eye, and I'm just going to repeat that until I'm happy with the color on each eye. The important part here is now you take an angled brush and you go in with those same colors, tap off the excess, and you are going to go under your eye all the way to your tear duct. And you want to look a little crazy now because we will blend it and make it look super nice later. So just go crazy for now. You can look like a raccoon. Okay, we are going to take my holy grail. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I talk about this constantly. It is a $12 Sephora eyeliner, and I've literally not found anything better than this. Okay, normally you take it in the shade Sangria, but I don't have that shade right now. I have the shade Endless Night, so we're gonna use that. But if you have green eyes, the purple will look really good. You're going to start by just making a tiny little wing, connecting it here. It does not have to be perfect. These are cousins, not sisters, not twins. Okay, now here is the key. You need to line the crap out of your entire waterline. So I start in my tear duct and make that little V shape, line my lower waterline, line my upper waterline, and then I'm just gonna drag it down underneath my waterline so you see the color a little bit like that. You're gonna do the same thing on this eye and pull her up, pull her up. Then you're gonna go in with that same angled brush you used earlier, and you're just gonna kind of fluff it out, clean it up a little bit. I just kind of take my finger and rub to get the excess off. And then I'm just gonna go in with that deep purple shade right here. Tap off my angled brush, and I'm just gonna dab it over that wing. This next step is really important. You are going to go in with the lightest shade of concealer that you can wear for your face appropriately. Mine is this Tarte Creaseless Creamy Concealer in the shade Fair Neutral 12N, and I do the smallest amount on the side of my nose, both sides, and right under the wing. Okay, this is just gonna give your face that lifted effect and your nose that snatched effect. So I just take this fat brush, you could probably use a smaller one, and I just kind of drag it down the side of my nose. Same thing on this side, and then dab under my eye, and pull this out. And then I just go in if I messed up the wing anywhere, kind of reinforce that. And before we do mascara, we're gonna do our eyebrows. Not doing a 2016 brow, but I take this NYX Professional in the shade Espresso, and I just kind of lightly line the bottom of my eyebrow to reinforce it on both sides. You could feather it up kind of like this, and the line can be harsh right now because we're going to take the brush on the other end in a second. I'm going to take the other side of this and just comb it out. I take this NYX brow glue in the clear color, and I just glue them straight up and then shape them. Take your finger, press, reinforce it, and then carve them out to your desired height. For me, that's about this. I don't want them any thicker. And I'm gonna do that on the other eye as well. Eyebrow below. Lift and snatch, kind of like rub the excess whatever off my eyebrow. They don't have to be perfect. And those are the eyebrows. Getting into mascara, I just take any old lash curler and I curl my eyelashes, okay? And then I just kind of pull up a little bit, not too much or you're gonna rip your eyelashes out. And I take this Thrive mascara in the black shade and I just go to town. It's okay if you get it on your eyelid. I always do. We're gonna fix that in a second. I like to do my bottom lashes. You don't have to. For my eye shape, I think it's much more flattering. You do you. I use the Huda Beauty powder in the shade Pound Cake, and I just take a little bit. I dip in my little powder puff that I got off Amazon, and this is important. You go down the side of your nose. You highlight any of those areas that you put that light concealer on to brighten those areas. And right underneath the wing. And I like to do blush after this. You could definitely do it beforehand if you're using a liquid blush, but I use a powder blush. And then I'm just gonna carve out underneath that bronzer area. We're gonna leave that on for a little bit. In the meantime, I'm gonna put on blush. I normally use this old Morphe blush, but I just got this Ilia palette that I'm gonna try. I already broke the highlighter in it, so that's a little sad. But I'm just gonna go in with these two shades on a fluffy brush, lightly tap off the excess. Okay, I like to put it on the apples of my cheeks. I think it's a lot more flattering for my face shape, and then drag it up. Ooh, okay. I really like that blush. Then I'm just gonna go in with that Ilia bronzer and just kind of darken up that wherever I put the bronzer by Rare Beauty at the beginning of this video, just to kind of reinforce the contour. I'm gonna bring it down my neck and of course up at the crown of my head. And this is my favorite little hack. I love taking a little fluffy brush, like that's for eyeshadow, and I love just taking a little bronzer on the tip of it and just going across my nose horizontally. It just snatches it so much more, and then I kind of like pull up to create that cute button nose shape, and then I really reinforce it here where my nose kind of meets my eyebrows, because that's another point of definition. And then I'm just gonna drag that over my lid to kind of pull off some of that mascara I got on top of my lid earlier. And now I'm gonna wipe off the baking powder. Gorgeous. I use this NYX lip liner. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I talk about this all the time. It is quite literally $6. $6. And I use it in the shade Whipped Caviar. It is better than any expensive lip liner I've used. Like, genuinely, I hate wasting money on things, especially like expensive makeup products. I just think half the time it's not really like, I don't think it's worth it half the time. And then I just kind of rub it in with my finger and I shove it in my purse for the night. And then I'm gonna take, I just got this, it's from Glow Recipe, which I didn't even know they had lip gloss. And I really love the color of it. So I'm just gonna kind of put the little gloss over. And the key to get your makeup to stay all night is this setting spray right here. It's like a hairspray almost for your face. And then I just want to put a little bit of highlighter on the tip of my nose. I don't really use it on my cheekbones. I don't like how it looks on me. It's like a little tiny dot on the tip of my nose and on the bridge. And you know what? Screw it. Let's just put some on my cheekbone. Adorable. And that, my friends, is the makeup tutorial. I'll link all these products for you in my Shop My in the description. As always, follow me on Instagram, TikTok to keep up with my fashion and beauty content. And I love you guys. I hope you stick around for more.